In this video, we're going to go over speaker calibration. I'll be calibrating a B&K mouth sim type 4227 using a calibrated SCM2 mic and a Listen Amp Connect. So first, I'll connect my reference mic to the reference input channel on the Amp Connect. Then plug the mouth into output A of the amplifier. I'll then set up my reference mic in the same position that I'm going to have my DUT-B tested. First, we'll look at setup hardware. Because this is a listen device, it will automatically update the input and output channels for the Amp Connect. On the front panel of the Amp Connect, we can look at the reference input and make sure it's set to bias voltage, and we'll turn on plus 20 dB of gain. On channel 1, we'll also want to make sure that this is set to reference, and the amplifier is set to output A. Alternatively, we can run an offline message step to set up the Amp Connect. We'll choose Amp Connect, select our device ID, and click Configure Listen Hardware. On this page, we can just click on the Read Settings button. So everything here looks good because everything was already configured on the front panel of the Amp Connect. We can just hit OK and then cancel the message step. We're now ready to run calibration. So we'll go to Setup, Calibration, and on the Output tab, we'll be looking at Mouth Sim. We're using hardware output channel 1, which is the Amp Connect channel 1, and then we'll add a new B&K type mouth here. For units, it defaults to volts per volt, so we're going to want to switch this to dB SPL. Our calibration sequence, we're going to select Speaker Equalization. And our input signal path is reference mic. It's very important that this signal path is already calibrated, which we did in the previous video. So now we'll click Calibrate Device. Here's another reminder that the microphone must be calibrated and to position the reference mic up to 1 meter away from the source. Where you place the reference mic should be the exact same position that you'll be placing your device under test. We can also select what dB SPL we'll be using for our calibration. Again, this should be what test level you'll be using in your sequence. The next message is the lowest frequency you want to EQ down to, so we can manually type in whatever we want here. I'm going to select 100 Hz. It will then ask what the highest frequency range is. I don't need to go up to 10K, so for this one I'll just select 8K. So we'll hit enter and it will run a sweep. And now here is the response of our speaker. You can see on the graph it goes from 100 Hz to 8 kHz because that is what we had selected. There is a tolerance range of about 40 dB. Anything outside of that, you can either try to reduce the range of the sweep or move the reference microphone close to your speaker. But since this is within the range, we'll just hit enter. This equalization curve will be added to this output stimulus, and the sweep will run again. So now we can see instead of a 40 dB range, these limits are a 6 dB range. SoundCheck will then ask if the EQ'd response is flat enough. If you hit yes, it will finish the calibration. If you hit no, it will try to flatten out the response even more and run the sweep again. So I'll hit no here. And here's the final result. The speaker is very flat, and it took care of a little bit of the half a dB swing that we were seeing in our first equalized run. And then this does look good enough to me, so I'll hit yes. This updates the sensitivity and the date of the calibration of the device. And our mouth simulator is now calibrated and ready to use in a sequence, so we'll hit save.